Toby Allen, thank you so much for your time today. Tell us a little bit about how you got started.
We all just started singing together at high school, and it's obviously been through a lot of different incarnations through our career. But that's literally why we're coming back to celebrate our 30 years together on this Little More Love tour. We love touring back home. Obviously in the early days we spent a lot of time touring around the country. Nothing is as good as coming back home and playing to hometown crowds and the people that have literally grown up with us through all of those years. It's always exciting coming back home.
You started off in '96, and I believe it was because of Alan Jones, the radio broadcaster, that you got your first record contract.
He was certainly there in the early days. We were actually part of a project called the Talent Development Project and the School Spectacular, which happened in Sydney. And he was one of the sort of mentors that came in and would speak to everybody. And he helped us with a very early gig of ours that was actually at his place in Newtown. And the result of that night was that we actually got to perform over at the Ritz in London one New Year's Eve, which was just incredible. But he was very good friends with Dennis Hanlon at Sony Music, and certainly sort of put in a good word for us and sang a cappella for Dennis, and he just fell in love with us as a music act, and signed us on the spot, and the rest is history.
Your show is a very visual show as well as being musically exceptional, and that's what suits it so well to typical Vegas.
Absolutely. We try and put everything that we can into a show. We still dance and sing as hard as we ever have, and we've got a live band that performs with us, and there's so many factors that come into it, but we've always sort of prided ourselves on a live show that we put together, not just making it a history lesson either, being able to have a laugh at ourselves, and which is something that I think an American crowd really loves. They love Aussies, and they love seeing Aussies sort of have a go at themselves. Now, coming up to 10 years in Vegas, it's like we're lucky we've had the best of both worlds. We still are able to perform 40 weeks of the year at the Venetian in Vegas and still come home and do big national tours.
Toby, did the Medal of the Order of Australia take you by surprise?
It did, actually. We've worked with lots of people and, come into contact with lots of people who always have, letters after their names, and it's certainly something that we are incredibly proud of. We love what we do, and we don't do it for awards, but that award is pretty special.
What are we going to see in concert from Human Nature on this tour?
We're actually bringing most of our US band over with us to do the show in Australia, and it's a bit of everything. I mean, literally, there's 30 years of music, and we play the very first song that we sang together and perform some of it as well, and we certainly do the most recent music we've released and everything in between. I think the crowd's going to love it.
Thank you so much for your chat today, Toby. Lovely talking.
Oh, Neil, it was lovely to talk to you too.